Hello folks, this is probably going to be my last video for several weeks because as you can see here on my background here, Hurricane Helene is definitely no small guppy. This, even though it's not a Cat 3 yet, there's still plenty of time between now and landfall, which is projected to be extremely close now to my area. So I can't seem to catch a break from these things this past year. What the heck, Mother Nature? But all jokes aside, this is a very serious situation, and we are in crunch time. If like Key West, South Florida, you can probably ride this out no problem, as you're just getting kind of grazed by the tropical storm force winds and the rain. So I don't think anywhere over coastal regions in the southern parts of Florida have a lot to worry about currently. That said, still stay safe, watch out for flooded areas, and don't scoff at the wind because it doesn't take much to topple a vehicle. However, when you start getting north of Tampa, that's when things start going down. Because the storm surge out or forecast for north of Tampa, all the way around Apalachicola, has been steadily increasing for the past 12 hours. I don't like it. We're looking at catastrophic, historic levels of storm surge around the Big Bend area, and I will get to those maps here in just a moment. But suffice it to say, don't take this lightly. This morning, if you're in northern Florida, you need to be getting to higher ground, especially if you are in the low-lying areas, coastal, around rivers, bends, that kind of thing, especially in the Apalachicola Bay area, because the time is basically out at this point. You have until probably around 9, 10 o'clock today. A lot of roads are already shut down. Places like my hometown are a ghost town right now. Nothing is open, no more supplies to be had. It is time to either get to high ground or get the heck out. And I can tell you, I've been listening to the radio for the state of Florida. There are plenty of problems along the interstate. There was a fatality wreck that blocked or westbound traffic, hindering evacuation efforts, so you have to bear these things in mind. But at this point, I would not expect to get a state away. At this point, you should be looking for high ground, places you can get out of the wind and run from the flooding. Like, that is the two key things. You can survive wind in a fairly sound structure. Water, on the other hand, is a major force that cannot be hidden from. You have to run from it. Believe me, we will be seeing pure evidence of this in just a few hours. That said, let's look at the latest elsewhere. Or in the Atlantic, not much to talk about. We have Tropical Storm Isaac in the North Atlantic, and another disturbance forming out in the Tropical Atlantic. Both of those look to be fish storms currently. Isaac might be a concern for Europe at some point as a post-tropical system. Nothing to write home about. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. Hurricane Helene this morning as of the 05 Eastern 04 AM update. More updates by the time you see this may be forthcoming. It may be upgraded to a Cat 2 or a Cat 3 by then, but this is based on the 05 or 100 update. That it was moving north-northeast at 12 miles an hour. Minimum pressure was down to 965. That is extremely low for a Category 1 hurricane, which is a testament to how the size is kind of holding its strength down a little bit, but its size is also a big problem because the size is making the storm surge worse. And maximum sustained winds is 90 miles an hour, so basically it's on the cusp of being a Category 2 hurricane. So couple the Category 2 status with the size of the system, you're looking at a monster. And this thing is slated to probably be a Cat 3 later today. And there is still a very large window for rapid intensification. So we can have a Cat 3, 4, and there is still a possibility for a Cat 5 here. We cannot rule that out, especially with what we know of these conditions. So, surface. Alright, so we're going to look at the rainfall potential here. And as you can see, the rainfall with this is staggering. Because we're going to have heavy rainfall all the way from Apalachicola, all the way up or through the Appalachians, or in the Western Carolinas, over Atlanta, or into west or eastern Alabama. And these alarms are blaring because so many are being issued and updated in real time as I'm recording this. And I'll show you that application here in a minute to get some more pinpoint info. But this is not to be scoffed at for several days. Even though it's fast moving, it is very large, and it is going to be dropping a lot of rain over these areas, some of which are still recovering from previous storm strikes and severe weather. So, now, peak surge potential. This is what I was talking about a little bit ago. These purple areas are looking for 12 plus feet. While they're saying 10, 15 foot in this area, there are areas like the coast of Taylor County and Dixie County, 15 to 20 foot. So if you are on the coast and you are staying to ride this out, you are on borrowed time. Use this time now to get the heck out of there. If you're watching this from a place like Keaton, Deagle Beach, or Hagen's Cove, get out of there. If you're in Cedar Key, get out of there. 15, 20 foot, that is at least 4 times the height of an average human, roughly. There is no way that we would survive. Imagine my height stacked 4 times. That is the type of potential death we're talking about here on the coast. It will start receding by Friday afternoon, but it will take time because the water's got to go back out into the ocean. That's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little time. And in that time, your house is still underwater. You don't need to be in it while it's underwater. Let's be honest here. And flash flooding potential, we're talking about with the rain. There's going to be a lot of rain. High, or anywhere in the shaded red and purple, especially, high flood potential. And a lot of this is in the landfall area of the hurricane. So be very mindful of both the storm surge and flash flooding potential, because this will happen in a hurry. Now, while we're done looking at all that, give me just a moment to get our application up. It is being kind of wonky. I apologize. I had it on another monitor because I was watching it for something else earlier this morning related to this. But as you can see, this is the current cloud cover over the landfall region. The outer feeder bands are well ahead of the tropical storm force wind field. So we are already getting rain. Flooding is starting in some areas. So let's look at more detailed information about this. As you can see, the wind field is fairly compact for the hurricane or hurricane force wind field. But don't let this fool you. There are going to be hurricane gusts within the stronger tropical storm force wind field and out in the greater wind field, just not as much. So, but this is going to be a whopper, and the eye wall does appear to be, or not quite closed off yet, but it is well on its way to closing off, which means we can probably see our intensification happening very soon. And Cape Coral over here to the right, so it's about on the same latitude as Key West. And chances are, Cape Coral, you're probably already seeing tropical storm force winds by the time you're seeing this. Tampa, you are not far behind. Lakeland probably isn't that far behind. And by tonight, we'll start seeing it up in the Apalachicola, Tallahassee area. And after that point, don't try to get out. Stay bunkered down. Get the safest place you possibly can. And pray. It's not often I tell you to do that. But in this case, I think it's warranted. This is a monster. Now let's look at the radar. Multi-site, so we can get the best picture possible. As you can see, tornado watch is in effect for everywhere from basically Ocala to Daytona Beach southward. The entire peninsula. If you're south of Ocala in Daytona Beach, you're probably in the tornado watch area. So these won't be that strong, but they will be sudden, short-lived, and hard to detect because they're going to be embedded in feeder bands. So that makes them hard to detect. So have weather radios on and make sure you're in a safe spot easily in these storms. And you see the feeder bands are starting to come in, especially up off the coast. One is running over Apalachicola as we speak. One is over Taylor County, and we seem to have a lot off the coast. Even one going over Tampa, one going over Cape Coral at this moment, or at the time of recording. So, and the eye is just off of radar, but you can see the banding, which indicates that this thing probably will be doing some strengthening. I think at a bare minimum, we can expect a mid Cat 2, and the forecast is calling for a Cat 3. Don't rule out Cat 4, Cat 5 at this point. Anything can happen in the next few hours for rapid intensification, and all the ingredients are here for that. So, I'm not going to dive further in the weeds on this. The State EOC Amateur Radio Network has activated as of 0700 this morning, which means this is getting serious. Keep an ear out. Keep tuned to your local radio stations. Keep tuned to your local officials. And if you're on the coast, use these last few precious hours to get away from the coast into higher ground. Even if you got to knock on a stranger's door that you know is in a safe spot and say, hey, I live on the coast, can I please stay here till after it passes, and deal with the consequences after. Of course, be nice to them because they're doing you a solid, but don't take this lightly. Time is running out this morning. I will be breaking down my setup and getting to my higher ground and starting to pray myself. After this recording uploads, everything's going to go through a manual shutdown. So please watch for your pets. Keep an eye on this storm. And above all, Florida, Georgia, stay safe. It's going to be a long 48 hours, but even after this passes, we have to start the recovery and rebuild process. So pitch in, help your local communities out, and where I'll see you on the other side of this, good hunting, and, well, use a Power Rangers phrase, as I know that it's more universal phrase than God be with us. Well, let's go say that too. God be with us. May the power protect you, and the force be with you. Well, let's get through this together, guys. I'll see you on the other side. Ray, out.